Well, hello, visitors to and denizens of the YouTubeverse. I'm John, your social hermit in the woods, and in this video I wanted to just quickly go over a quick way of patching a common kind of failure in the bindings on Denali snowshoes. So, if you have a set of Denali shoes, they're really nice snowshoes, but your binding has failed and you're looking for a quick easy solution, which is actually quite practical while you're waiting for proper replacements, this might be used to you. Okay, so quick review. The type of bindings I'm talking about here are this type, which have these long rubber straps with little holes in them. There's 3 of them that go across the front of the boot and a long one across the back. Now what happens is over time these get brittle and they get stressed and they break like this one has here. It should have been originally about 15 centimeters longer than this and with a big plastic thing to grab on the end. And the problem is this is now too short to fit around. Now, MSR does make replacement strap sets. You can go onto their website, you can order them. That's great, but it could take a while. What do you do if these break suddenly, catastrophically, as they did for me? And you say to yourself, well, but I need to use my snowshoes right now. I've got something I want to go do. And so the obvious solution is you take and you use cordage of some sort to fix it. But what I'm going to show you is what occurred to me after some thinking about it. Really quick, really easy, works very well, and hopefully might be of use to you as well. Okay, to do this, you're going to need 3 things. You're going to need some proper paracord. Doesn't really have to be 550-pound strength. That's the usual stuff. But you really do want to use paracord, which is a kern mantle type construction, very low friction on the outside, and which makes good knots, and it's about the right diameter, perfect diameter for this job. I would not use some other kind of substitute twine for this, and certainly not a twisted type thing because it'll unravel and be a pain in the butt. Okay, so you're going to need paracord, about 45 centimeters or 18 inches. You'll need a lighter, and you'll need a pair of scissors or a serrated knife. So all you're going to do is cut off your 45 centimeter, your 18-inch chunk of this, and use the lighter to fuse the ends. Okay, not going to show you doing that. I assume you know how to do that. Let's actually now take that piece of cordage. What you're going to do is you want to tie a stopper knot in one end. The simplest type of one of those is what's called a figure-8 knot, and called that because it's really exactly what you do is you fold this into a figure-8, pass the top back through, and then tighten it down. And you want to do this fairly close to the end without a lot of tail hanging out. So there you go. Give yourself a nice little stopper knot with a little tiny bit of tail. Okay, set that aside. Take your damaged snowshoe, and you want to save as much of the strap as possible because the strap still has width and flexibility and good frictional binding against your boot, and you would like to keep those. But what you want to do is find, in my case, the furthest back crack in the plastic was about here. So take your scissors again and just trim that off to give yourself a nice, neat end. Okay, so you now got this. This part is still flexible. The worn out part is almost always right down at the part that goes through the buckle and gets bent back on itself. So this part is still in pretty good shape, but it's obviously too short to go around. So what do? Take your piece of paracord with its melted ends and its stopper knot and go back here about 10 of these holes back, roughly. You may have to adjust it a little bit to get the right spot. And starting from the outside, you want your knot, your stopper knot to end up on the outside. Push your melted end through. Okay. So you've now fed that through like that. Now weave this back and forth through here, pulling it firm at each spot. This is why paracord is good. If you use something that's too thick, it won't go through here. And if you use something too thin, it will try to cut in on these spaces. What you're doing is effectively going to be lengthening this strap, but you're going to be putting a load. When this gets put under load, the load's going to be distributed out over all of these holes that you're feeding through. So you're not going to put a super high point stress on any one of them, and the likelihood of it tearing back out is very low. Okay, so this part's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, so there we go. Now let's review. You want the knot on the outside so it's not interfering with squishing up on your boot. You want this inside to be as smooth as possible to have a good frictional catch. And this is long enough to now leave you, I've still got about 20 centimeters of free space, and the total length is easily long enough to go back around my boot and give me about 10 centimeters, about 4 or 5 inches of free play here. So how do you actually tie this up? Well, you still have this buckle, right? That buckle is not usually broken off. What you do when your boot is in here is you now go ahead and use that buckle. You pass the paracord through here. Remember, this remaining part of the rubber strap is still now bound to your boot and has good frictional grab there. Pass this through from the inside, loop it up and around the finger, the little spike sticking up here. You want to do that kind of as a frictional lock, and then pass it back through the inside. Okay. Can you see that there? Forms a shape like that. Comes in the bottom, goes through, comes around behind that finger, and comes back out. That puts a little bit of frictional load on this. And now all you do is you tie a simple loop knot in this. You tension it down to the right tension. You tie a simple loop like that. If you have excess line and you don't want it flopping around, just loosely tie a second loop there. This will bind really well on your foot. It doesn't tie up, this knot doesn't get more bound up under tension, meaning when you want to take these off, even with gloves, it's easy. You do that, you pull the end, pop that off there, and there you go. So there you have it. If you have this kind of binding on your snowshoes, they will break at some time, probably when you least want them to. And this is a really quick, easy, simple fix. I hope it was of some help to you. And with that, this is John, your social hermit in the woods. Bye until next time.